My name is Will Prince with the Louisiana Trust for Historic Preservation. We continue to highlight historic places throughout Louisiana with this series, Profiles on Preservation. Today, we'll be discussing a historic landscape that has been revived and blossoms again, as well as many historic sites along its path. Today, we'll be discussing the Lafayette Azalea Trail with Denise Lanclos. Hello, Denise, how are you today?
Very well.
Before we get started, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you are connected to the Azalea Trail?
Sure. I'm a native of Lafayette. I grew up here with a beautiful urban core. I used to do the Azalea Trail run back in the 1990s. The trail has grown since the 1930s. It grew to 25 miles long. It traverses through a few historic districts and 3 garden district neighborhoods.
Great. So what exactly is the Azalea Trail? How did it get started? What is a little bit more about the history of the trail itself?
The Azalea Trail started in the early 1900s in Elmhurst Park Historic District on Dunreath Street. The ladies there did a beautification effort in their neighborhood, and they used the Formosa azalea as the plant to beautify their streets. And as the city developed and grew, azaleas were planted all over. And we have some legacy families that helped beautify Lafayette in this early 1900s. John Cameron Nickerson, Dr. Stevens, and Maurice Hyman had a big interest in landscape beautification. They planted Japanese magnolias, southern magnolias, a lot of camellias and azaleas through Lafayette's central urban core. We have a lot of that still today, and it's a beautiful thing with our historic properties. That's
great. And as you know, trails connect people and places, and can you tell us a little bit more about the historic sites that can be found along the trail, and a little bit about their architecture and their history and what they mean to the Lafayette community?
So beginning in Elmhurst Park District, that's a historic district. It's a beautiful neighborhood with some bungalow houses. Also in Sterling Grove National Historic District, we have some beautiful historic homes there, namely the Mouton Plantation. It's one of our oldest homes here. It's a lovely B&B. And now the Nickerson House is an event center. And as the trail grew, it went through Lafayette's urban core, through the university, and into the oil center. So Maurice Hyman's epicenter of his nursery was where the oil center is today. He had a huge nursery. He developed that area. Coolidge Boulevard became known as the $1 Million Road. It was full of azaleas. And right beyond that, down St. Mary Boulevard through our university, is Mouton Gardens, another historic area. We have an old video on our website and our Facebook depicting that of the early days. And that's a showcase of our city flowers. So by 1932, the mayor, Roy, declared Lafayette February 23rd as our official opening day of bloom season, and he declared the lavender Formosa azalea our city flower. It became so prevalent across the trail. So it traverses through the University District. Now the Oil Center is a cultural historic district as well. And then there's Arbolada, which is a 1920s Tudor neighborhood with Mediterranean and Tudor style houses. Several are on our historic register. And now we're adding on Whittington Park to our garden districts. We have Oaklawn Garden District, Bendel Gardens, Greenbrier, and now Whittington Park. And also we've added a Raging Cajun district for our university up and down Cajun Dome. We planted a lot of the red Formosa azaleas to link that side of town up with the garden districts.
That sounds like you've got azaleas all over the place. Must be very cool to see. And historic landscapes evolve just like any community. And what is the trail like today, and how is the trail's story interpreted? These are, flowering plants and so forth. They might seem fairly common, but they're pretty unique to the area. So, from previous discussions, that seems like there was interest to bring the trail back. And so could you tell us a little bit more about that, and how the community and how your organizations use the trail to its benefit today?
Yes. So, and on the trail, I meant to say there are beautiful museums and churches, historic churches on our Azalea Trail. But there's a lot of organizations that have promoted our Azalea Trail over the years, namely the Lafayette Garden Club and the Chamber started in the 30s. The Lafayette JCs did a lot to promote the trail. And then Scenic Lafayette came on board, and there 2014 did a lot of revitalization. I'm a member of Scenic Lafayette. We've planted over 1,000 bushes up and down the trail to revitalize. And now we're partnering the Azalea Trail with Preservation Alliance of Lafayette. Our Azalea Trail is over 80 years old, and it's a big part of the beautiful landscapes of our historic homes and churches and museums. So it fits well to promote that together. And they used to promote Lafayette as the city of flowers across America. We became known as the city of flowers in the early 1930s. In 2016, the Azalea Society of America named Lafayette as an official Azalea city, and we're only one of 15 in the country now. So historically, thousands of people would caravan here in the 40s and 50s to see our beautiful flowers. And it's much more than just about azaleas. It is about our beautiful homes and churches and wonderful food and culture and arts and music that we have here. And they promoted Lafayette as a floral Mardi Gras back in the early 1930s. When we didn't have as much Mardi Gras parades, they decorated their floats in the early 1900s with camellias and azaleas and magnolias. So we like to say it is a floral Mardi Gras seasonally. We start with camellias, our winter roses. Right now they're starting to bloom. The Japanese magnolias will start blooming in January, and then the azaleas are the prolific super bloom in March.
And so have these organizations, reinvented or reused these traditions from the 1930s and, and found a way to preserve that tradition in modern times?
We did. Several years ago, when Scenic Lafayette began promoting it again, we had a classic car cruise and bike ride for a few years where classic cars would come in and cruise the trail. The last 2 years, we've been doing historical and narrated trolley tours during the bloom season, and they're very popular. We'll be doing them again next year. And next year will be a little different. We're going to do trolley rides for some of the children in the district so we can educate them and get them excited about this beautiful history we have.
So if someone wants to get involved or plant their own azalea, or they have a historic home or a historic site along the trail, how can they get involved, and how can they share their part of the history as part of this trail?
Well, I developed a website for Lafayette's Azalea Trail a few years ago, azaleatrail.org. It's beautiful. We also joined on Facebook this year. We're promoting the Azalea Trail on Facebook. It's getting a lot of attention. I put it on Google Maps several years ago, and we have over 40,000 people looking at our pictures a month from around the world. So All Seasons Nursery is our go-to. We suggest people to go there, but we also do plant giveaways around Thanksgiving time every year. We give away a certain amount of azaleas. And this year we gave away a lot of Japanese magnolias because we wanted to get more of those on the grounds too.
Very cool. This sounds like a great attraction and great history and a great way to, beautify, but also kind of connect to historic sites along the way. Is there any other things you'd like to share about the history, the future, or the importance or the significance of the trail with us today?
I also serve with Keep Lafayette Beautiful's Commission, and I hope that we can come together more and more with scenic landscape beautification in many ways. I am a member of the Azalea Society of America. I'm their advertising manager, and I am leading the national convention for the ASA to Lafayette next year. So we will be hosting that convention here for the first time and touring them through our beautiful city, and also to some of the beautiful gardens in Acadiana at Avery Island and Jungle Gardens.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to learn more about this unique landscape and how it's started, how it evolved, and how it's been a key asset to the community today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.